Some countries are struggling so severely that daily survival is a challenge. In this video, we reveal the 5 poorest countries in the world in 2026 and why conditions remain so extreme. Poverty isn't just about low income, it affects healthcare, education, food security, safety, and life expectancy. While some nations are advancing rapidly, others continue to face deep economic hardship caused by conflict, instability, debt, and limited access to resources. Welcome back to Discover Top 10 Places, where we explore global realities, country rankings, and the facts behind the headlines. Today, we're counting down the 5 poorest countries in the world in 2026, based on income levels, economic output, infrastructure, access to basic services, and overall living conditions. Watch until the end because the number 1 country's situation is far worse than most people realize. Number 5, Mozambique. It is widely recognized as one of the poorest countries in the world, with a large portion of its population facing extreme poverty, limited infrastructure, and economic vulnerability. Despite its long coastline and natural resource potential, the country continues to struggle with low income levels and uneven development. Many Mozambicans rely on subsistence agriculture for survival, leaving households highly exposed to droughts, floods, and changing climate conditions that regularly disrupt food production and income. One of Mozambique's biggest challenges is its lack of reliable infrastructure and basic services. Access to clean water, electricity, healthcare, and quality education remains limited in many rural and even semi-urban areas. Roads and transportation networks are underdeveloped, making it difficult to move goods, access markets, or attract large-scale investment. These structural limitations slow economic growth and keep many communities isolated from opportunity. Natural disasters have played a major role in deepening poverty across Mozambique. Cyclones, flooding, and droughts have repeatedly damaged homes, farmland, and public infrastructure, setting back development efforts by years at a time. Recovery is often slow due to limited financial resources and dependence on external aid. As a result, food insecurity and malnutrition remain serious issues, particularly among children and vulnerable populations. Despite these hardships, Mozambique has shown long-term potential for improvement. The country possesses valuable natural gas reserves, fertile agricultural land, and a young population that could drive future growth if stability and investment increase. However, for meaningful progress to occur, Mozambique must overcome challenges related to poverty, infrastructure gaps, and access to basic services. Until then, it remains one of the poorest countries in the world, where daily life for millions is defined by resilience in the face of ongoing economic and environmental hardship. Number 4, Malawi. It is widely regarded as one of the poorest countries in the world, with much of its population living in extreme poverty and relying on subsistence farming for survival. The country's economy is heavily dependent on agriculture, particularly rain-fed farming, which makes livelihoods highly vulnerable to droughts, floods, and unpredictable weather patterns. Limited industrial development and a lack of economic diversification have made it difficult for Malawi to generate stable income and long-term growth. One of Malawi's most pressing challenges is food insecurity, which affects millions of people each year. Frequent climate shocks, soil degradation, and limited access to modern farming technology reduce crop yields and increase hunger. Malnutrition remains a serious concern, especially among children, impacting health, education outcomes, and overall productivity. When harvests fail, households often have few alternatives for income or support. Access to basic services and infrastructure remains limited across much of the country. Many communities lack reliable electricity, clean water, healthcare facilities, and well-funded schools. Transportation networks are underdeveloped, making it difficult for farmers to reach markets or for businesses to expand. These infrastructure gaps slow economic progress and reinforce cycles of poverty, particularly in rural areas where most Malawians live. Despite these challenges, Malawi has shown resilience and potential for improvement. The country has a young population and fertile land that could support stronger agricultural productivity with better investment, irrigation, and technology. Expanding education, healthcare access, and economic diversification will be key to reducing poverty over time. Until meaningful progress is made, however, Malawi remains one of the poorest countries in the world, where millions continue to face daily struggles to meet basic needs. Number 3, Niger. It is consistently ranked among the poorest countries in the world, with extreme poverty affecting a large majority of its population. Located in West Africa, Niger faces severe economic challenges driven by low income levels, limited industrial development, and a heavy reliance on subsistence agriculture. Many citizens survive on minimal daily resources, and opportunities for stable employment outside farming remain extremely limited, keeping poverty deeply entrenched across generations. One of Niger's most serious challenges is chronic food insecurity, which is worsened by harsh climate conditions and rapid population growth. Much of the country lies within the Sahel region, where droughts, desertification, and unpredictable rainfall frequently disrupt food production. As a result, millions of people face hunger and malnutrition each year, particularly children, which severely impacts health, education, and long-term economic potential. Access to basic services and infrastructure in Niger remains among the lowest globally. Many communities lack clean drinking water, reliable electricity, healthcare facilities, and quality education. Roads and transportation networks are underdeveloped, making it difficult to deliver aid, access markets, or attract investment. These infrastructure gaps slow economic growth and leave large rural populations isolated from opportunities for improvement. Despite these hardships, Niger possesses long-term potential if stability and investment improve. The country has natural resources, a young population, and opportunities for agricultural modernization and regional trade. However, persistent poverty, security challenges, and limited institutional capacity continue to hinder progress. Until these structural issues are addressed, Niger remains one of the poorest countries in the world, where daily life for millions is shaped by survival, resilience, and ongoing economic struggle. Number 2, South Sudan. It is widely considered one of the poorest and most fragile countries in the world, with extreme poverty affecting the vast majority of its population. Since gaining independence, the country has struggled to build stable political and economic institutions. Prolonged conflict, weak governance, and repeated displacement have severely damaged the economy, leaving millions of people without reliable income, employment, or access to basic necessities. One of South Sudan's most severe challenges is ongoing conflict and political instability, which has disrupted nearly every aspect of daily life. Fighting between rival groups has destroyed infrastructure, displaced communities, and discouraged both domestic and foreign investment. As a result, economic activity remains extremely limited, and inflation has driven the cost of food and basic goods beyond the reach of many households, deepening poverty across both urban and rural areas. Access to basic services and humanitarian support is critically limited. Large portions of the population lack clean drinking water, electricity, healthcare, and formal education. Malnutrition is widespread, especially among children, as food insecurity remains a constant threat due to disrupted farming, flooding, and supply shortages. Healthcare facilities are often under-resourced or inaccessible, contributing to high mortality rates and preventable diseases. Despite vast oil resources and agricultural potential, South Sudan has struggled to translate these assets into broad economic benefit. Poor infrastructure, insecurity, and limited institutional capacity continue to block progress. While humanitarian aid plays a vital role in sustaining millions of people, long-term solutions remain elusive. Until peace, stability, and development take hold, South Sudan remains one of the poorest countries in the world, where daily survival is a central challenge for much of the population. Number 1, Burundi. It is widely recognized as one of the poorest countries in the world, with extreme poverty shaping nearly every aspect of daily life for much of its population. Located in East Africa, Burundi has a very small economy, low income levels, and limited natural resources to drive growth. The vast majority of people rely on subsistence agriculture, often producing just enough food to survive, leaving households highly vulnerable to hunger, price shocks, and environmental changes. One of Burundi's most serious challenges is chronic food insecurity and malnutrition. High population density places intense pressure on limited arable land, reducing farm productivity and income potential. Many families struggle with undernourishment, particularly children, which affects health, education, and long-term economic prospects. Recurrent food shortages and limited access to modern farming tools keep agricultural output low and poverty deeply entrenched. Access to basic services and infrastructure in Burundi remains extremely limited. Large parts of the population lack clean drinking water, reliable electricity, healthcare facilities, and quality education. Transportation infrastructure is underdeveloped, making it difficult for farmers to reach markets or for businesses to grow. These structural limitations isolate communities and slow any potential economic progress, reinforcing cycles of poverty across generations. Political instability and weak governance have further constrained development in Burundi. Periodic unrest, limited foreign investment, and reliance on external aid have made sustained economic growth difficult. While the country has a young population and potential for improvement through agriculture and regional cooperation, progress remains slow. Until stability, infrastructure, and economic opportunity expands significantly, Burundi continues to stand as one of the poorest countries in the world, where resilience is essential for everyday survival. Conclusion: poverty on this scale isn't just about numbers, it's about real people facing daily challenges most of the world never sees. These rankings highlight how deeply inequality still shapes life across the globe. If this video helped you better understand global poverty realities, hit the like button, share it to raise awareness, and comment below which countries surprised you the most. And don't forget to subscribe to discover top 10 places for more videos on global rankings, country comparisons, economic realities, and the facts behind world headlines. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.